Are you still doing any consulting at all, or you probably don't have time? Do you?
No, I just spent 4 hours yesterday consulting with a group that wanted to do a group community. And I helped.
They said, number one, forget it, right?
Well, no, I mean, they already have the land, but, I tried to explain, how you segregate it so that you have your wealthy who can afford, have a higher degree of HOA regulations from your more libertarian and freedom and people willing to accept, junky yard next to them. You just want to provide, if you have a large enough development with lots of different separated places so that your agricultural farm to market people can be one area, your poor people who have an RV that they want to put out in a little shelter, they have a different area with a campground, and lots of different things. But that's what I recommend. Private property, individually separated in groups so that people can be compatible with the people they feel comfortable with.
And separate ownership of each.
That's right, and separate ownership.
Right.
The only community facilities I recommend are, for example, a big gazebo, picnic area with a barbecue where people can use it during good times for get-togethers.
Yeah.
A common, for a certain size community, you can put a common water system in with a big water storage tank. You can save money that way instead of everyone doing their cistern. Yeah. You can have a big generator and a solar system, to try to provide some minimal community power to supplement, or people can supplement with their own personal generators if it exceeds that. There's certain things you can do in community, just like utilities do in regular communities.
Right.
But outside of that, you don't want to be sharing or having community tools or garden plots and things like that. Everybody needs to have their own. So
many fights that start about that stuff, and it always seems really great and idealistic in the beginning until you get the real people involved.
That's right. Yeah.
In my experience. And since most places don't have surface water, rivers and stuff like that, what have you learned about protect? I'm assuming that you're saying there should be a water well on every single separate owned piece of property, right?
That's difficult in certain areas where it requires you buy certain water rights to be able to sink a well, and they have limits on how many wells. Like in many parts of Arizona, you have to go, quarter mile underground to get water. Mm-hmm. Some water in Arizona is just abundant. It's amazing the difference there. In Utah and Idaho, everything is controlled in water rights. You can't just sink a well. So you do have to deal with community wells sometimes to have a community water supply and a community storage tank. Especially out west, yeah.
Any model to try to follow so that doesn't become World War IV or something about the well?
No, water wars have always been with us in the West, where your best survival situations are. You just need to make sure that when you buy land, you get water rights with it. And believe me, everybody's there to protect. Everybody knows now you protect water rights. That's pretty well established. There aren't any more water wars because of those water rights. They've been pretty well solved.
Well, I'm thinking about water wars between the owners of the different parcels.
Well, the point is, to have a water war, you got to be able to steal the water. And so that means that you start pumping out of a well and irrigating 20 acres with it, when you don't have water rights. And believe me, people can sabotage your well and other things if you violate their water rights, if the government doesn't do it. So it's pretty easy to keep people from stealing water, other than from open water sources.
I'm just thinking about arguments over policy of how to use it. If it's owned by a group, and there's different attitudes about that.
Well, you have to have it carefully parceled out so that each group, even if you've got a community water system, each person is regulated, and you can meter how much water each person, and you've got valves that you can shut it off if they're overusing water. So you have to be able to control it through valves and meters about how you use it.
There's got to be some ability to function between the individual property owners so that really, this is a big subject, but really it's the prototype of a new government, right?
Yes.
What's going to evolve to keep people getting along with each other.
Well, that's what I say. You can't depend on people just doing what's right. There's too many people that are greedy and too many people that are disregarding others. You have to nail it down, and you have to have an enforcement mechanism.
Yeah. Choose a new sheriff, I guess.
Yeah. And that's why I say I prefer to have my own family plot, but I'm not having, But there are only certain people who lack resources that need to band together in a community. But if you can do it all yourself, have your own well, that's the preferred way.
Yeah, yeah. All right. Well, let's stay in touch, and as soon as we get this put together, then we'll figure out a good way to use it.
Yeah, good.
And I think Alex would like to help, I would think.
I'm sure he would. I'm sure he would. Okay.
We'll stay in touch.
Thank you. Good.
All
Thank
right.
you, Doug. All right. Bye now.
Talk to you soon.